Welcome back to the channel. What happened to the Very Good Food Company yesterday? It was down 21.4% on the day. There was some pretty interesting news that came out. Overall, obviously, investors don't really like what happened, so we're going to get into the news, my thoughts, what I'm going to be doing. We'll look at the charts as well, and then we'll see what's going on. And my favorite part, looking at the charts. But before we do, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and as always, hit that like button, guys. Let's go. What happened? The Very Good Food Company prices a $30 million registered direct offering. The Very Good Food Company is pleased to announce that it has entered into definitive agreements with institutional investors for the purchase and sale of approximately 50 million units of the company at a price of US $2 per unit for gross proceeds to the company of approximately $30 million pursuant to a registered direct offering. Each unit consists of 1 common share of the company and 1.5 common share purchase warrant. Each warrant shall entitle the holder thereof to purchase 1 common share at an exercise price of $2.35 US. The warrants will be exercisable for 5 years from the closing of the offering. Very Good intends to use the net proceeds from the offering to scale its operations, to expand its geographical reach, accretive acquisitions within the plant-based food sector, for research and development, for marketing initiatives, and for general corporate and other working capital purposes. After this news came out, investors were not happy whatsoever, and if you landed on my video, chances are you've watched Jeremy from Financial Education's video as well, and his reactionary video, and he was not happy whatsoever. And I was taking a look and seeing what people were saying on the Yahoo message boards, and I feel like this message over here sums it up pretty nice. So Desmond says, "What a sad day for the very bad stock company. No press release or explanation from Mitchell Scott at all. Just completely screwed every single shareholder, just when we were seeing a light at the end of the tunnel too. All trust lost. Who would want to invest in a company that pulls the rug at the worst times possible and doesn't even give an explanation? Still holding, by the way. Actually bought more, but very upset and frustrated. Management must do better." Because as a shareholder, you have to have trust in management in order to execute for years and years and years if you're investing. If you're trading the company, much different. But if you plan on being in the company long term, you have to have trust in the management team. An example of this would be Ginny Rometty, who was the CEO of IBM since January of 2012. And when she became CEO, it was around over here, right around the peak. She was unable to grow the company and steer it in a proper direction. And as a result, the company peaked and stopped growing and has become less relevant over time. But my point being is that management is an extremely important part of your investment thesis and fundamental research. You could have, again, a good company, but if your management sucks, then it'll go nowhere. Or rather, won't reach its full potential to whatever extent. So it was a $30 million offering, and the company, its market cap is 216 million Canadian dollars. So in US dollars, that's like what? Just under 200? And the candlesticks, what is it telling us? What an interesting chart to begin with. The first thing you see is you see a big ramp up because of the NASDAQ listing, and then the mini bubble popping, and then that big gap down today. What an interesting chart. And look at that volume at 2.67 million shares versus an average of, let's say, 200, 300, 400,000 shares. The last time we had this amount of volume was at the end of 2020. And looking at what the price was at the end of 2020, at $9 Canadian. That's one of my biggest regrets looking back at the stock, was I never took profits. And I bought this one before Jeremy had even talked about it on his channel, back when it was like $1.50 Canadian. And I never took a single penny off the table. Imagine that. But you know what? I learned a big lesson from this past February when it came to taking profits and being too greedy, and overall being aware of my emotions, especially fear and greed. And I've actually been averaging up into my position as it's been bleeding, so it's been pretty painful, and I think I'm just below my cost basis now. But I also went with the intention of investing, but I also should have realized at the same time that when your super speculative startup company goes up hundreds of %, you should probably take something off the table. Regardless, you live and you learn. What am I going to do moving forward? And that's an interesting question. So the first thing I want to ask, like the audience or you guys, is there something that we don't know? Is there a reason why Mitchell Scott has been shady in not being specific and doing it at these prices right after the NASDAQ listing and all these weird circumstances? Are they going to come out with something else out of left field? Or is this for their expansion for their China project? It's just all kind of not feeling so right about this company right now. Literally compared to how I felt about it like earlier this week. And if anything, I'm just confused, so I'm not really adding any more to my position right now. I'm not going to be selling out. I think it makes up about 1% of my portfolio. And I'm going to see how this one reacts. I'm actually happy this happened on a Friday. And I'm just speculating here, but let's say this happened on like a Tuesday or Wednesday or in the middle of the week. The next day could have also been very potentially red as well, but now that we have 2 days of rest, I guess, of emotional rest, maybe Monday won't be as bad. Maybe investors will have calmed down a little bit by then, but not necessarily. Would we really be surprised if we're down another 5 or 10% on Monday again? I wouldn't. Also, wouldn't be surprised if we were up 5 to 10% on Monday either. Remember, this is a $200 million startup speculative company. Otherwise, good luck with your investment, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the news and what you're going to be doing moving forward. As always, subscribe, like, and I will see you guys in the next video.